Okay, in this video, I want to talk to you about business internships and their importance. Okay, and I want to start by saying an internship within a business program is likely the single most important aspect of career development that you can do while in your business program. In some ways, for getting started along a particular chosen career path, it is essential. Okay, so what is it? Well, to start with, an internship is a little bit different than a part-time job or a full-time job. Basically, it's professional practice that is oriented towards learning. You're supposed to be exposed to things that otherwise you would not be qualified for. Okay, things that are above your professional experience level. If what you are doing or what you're exposed to were a job, you technically wouldn't hold the qualifications for it. Okay, but as a student, you're exposed to it under direct, close supervision, and the objective is that you become comfortable in that environment, you learn from it, and you acquire many of the skills that you're lacking there, but also you're able to practice putting some of the theory, the concepts that you've learned from the classroom and from your text into practice in the work environment. Okay, so in that way, it's a little bit different than employment or part-time employment. So with that being said, generally companies offer internships to students as part of a program overall, but sometimes they're one-off, right? Your bigger Fortune 500 companies, that's their primary hiring mechanism for new graduates. And if you want to learn more about hiring in small, medium, and large firms, we have an article and videos on that specific topic. So check out our video entitled Hirings in Small, Mid-size, and Fortune 500, Fortune 1000 firms, okay, or large firms. So that being said, most internships are paid, okay? And generally the idea is this: if a company is going to have an intern do actual work, something that benefits the company primarily, the individual should be paid. That's a combination of employment law and tax law, okay, that says, that that's required. But if the intern is just going to take part in learning activities, that there's only incidental value to the company, that you're not replacing the role or functions of an employee by having the intern there, then you don't have to be paid, because it's not that type of relationship. It's a mentorship, a teaching learning scenario. So once again, the labor and IRS rules do not apply. Okay, but most internships, at least that I've come across, have a strong component of you providing value to the business. So generally in that scenario, you should be paid. Okay. Now, why is an internship so important? Why is it the single most important career development thing you can do in business school? Well, to start with, as I discuss in my other videos, large firms, at least Fortune 1000 firms, that's their primary way of hiring new employees that are not lateral transfers or experienced hires, as we say. Okay, so when you're hiring recent graduates, their formalized internship programs, that's the way they do it. It's also very common in mid-sized and small firms. It's just the way you go about applying to and getting into those internships is a bit different, okay? But regardless, understand that it is a major source or path to a job. Most individuals who hold an internship, at least in mid-sized and large companies, end up with a job offer at the end. So that's something to keep in mind, all right? Now, exposure, okay? The internship experience is going to expose you to something otherwise you have not been exposed to, or you have not been exposed to that extent in that industry, in that type of job, etc. So the exposure that it provides is part of the learning experience of school, and being exposed to something and having the concepts that you're learning in class applied in real life where it matters to you, where it makes a difference as to your success or failure, really reinforces what you're learning, but also provides some level of motivation to work harder towards learning those things, right? It increases your interest and engagement in the topics and subject matter. So something to keep in mind. Next is experience. This can go on your resume, but also it builds you up as a person, okay? But collectively, those two things, having that experience on your resume is going to make you look better, create more opportunities for you, and also the development as a person is going to give you more confidence and more recognition of your ability to handle different scenarios as they come along, okay? And then lastly, networking. Business internship is the best way in the world to network. Everybody who you meet during your internship has the potential to become part of your network. Probably the single most important thing you can do is to make certain that you meet everyone, that you shake hands, that people understand who you are, what you want, what you're looking for, what you've done to get there, that type of thing. Now, it shouldn't be one-way traffic. You should also attempt to understand others, to endear yourself to them, to make certain that you understand them as much as they understand you. That is the essence of effective networking and good conversation, right? Good professional conversation. We have lots of videos on conversations and networking and communication as part of networking and career development. And then particularly our video, one-on-one networking, is all in furtherance of that point. So take a look at that if you have that opportunity. All right. Now, last thing I want to talk about is finding internships, right? Lots of times, internships, particularly in small and medium-sized company, they're through referral. That is, the company's looking for an intern. They tell their employees or their connections through whoever, and then you learn about it through that. But sometimes they post it in public places, on job boards, post it with the school in electronic programs, or simply with the career services office type scenario. Oftentimes they do it nationally, like the Fortune 500 firms may post their internship program nationally, so people from across the country will apply to it and these are normally formalized summer programs, 40 hours a week throughout the entire summer. Is very highly structured, that type of thing. In that scenario, that's when you see the national postings and things like that. Posted on LinkedIn, not as much on Indeed and Simply Hired and things like that. But they'll local job boards, right, are a big deal as well. Okay, so again, postings of job opportunities through career centers and whatnot. And then direct contact. This is the aspect that I see most underutilized, particularly with the current generation, who tends to be more apt to sit behind the computer, send out their resume and cover letters, just hitting send via email, and they're reluctant to pick up the phone and call a company, to visit a company, and try to make connections that way or make inroads, right? But there are so many ways that you can identify companies that are of interest to you, that have positions that interest you, or could offer career paths in industries that interest you, that type of thing. And they aren't reaching out for interns, right? That's not in their purview. But they would take an intern if an intern were to reach out to them and it were the right person. So it's upon you to do the research to find these firms. Google Maps is your best friend. You can use databases like the things offered by the local Chamber of Commerce and the business descriptions that you'll find in there. You can simply look at job postings through some of the local job boards or through some of the national ones for positions in bigger companies. But once again, just simply putting in accounting firm and putting in your zip code will bring up a Google map of all the accounting firms in the area. You can now visit their websites and read about them and see if that's the area of accounting you're interested in and you want to practice there. Same thing with other firms, right? So once again, the direct contact aspect requires you learning about the company, reaching out to them in some form or manner, even if it's through a connection, and trying to establish a relationship and asking if they offer internships, or if they do offer one that you'd like to know about, how to be in consideration, that type of thing. So anyway, that's the best way to go about finding an internship. So I'm just going to summarize by saying that internships are extremely important. They provide tons of benefit, and it's going to be incumbent upon you to work to find a good internship, because once again, it's going to potentially be a springboard for you career-wise, professionally, and so many other benefits and ways.